feel like the way we talk about dating preferences can be a bit strange, lovely audience. Today's video is about straight trans people and how we talk about them. Similar to juggling, sexuality is surprisingly complicated despite it looking pretty simple. The thing is, we have a preconceived notion that it's more common for trans people to be lesbian or gay, that kind of thing. And truth be told, that's technically not the case statistically. Technically, amongst trans people, the split between gay, straight, and bi is actually pretty comparable. The idea of there being more lesbian trans women and more gay men than straight trans people, that's a fairly Western idea technically. In a lot of Eastern countries, for example, it's kind of the opposite stereotype-wise. But the thing is, globally, the actual percentage is pretty similar. So it's worth understanding that there's a lot of nuance to this, and when explaining stereotypes, they can be different depending on where in the world you are. So if the stuff I explained doesn't really resonate with your local experience, that's fair enough and it's equally valid. So without further ado, let's talk about straight trans people. Now, random YouTuber, are you a straight trans person? I think so. Sexuality is kind of hard, lovely audience. I'm either straight or ace. I don't really know right now, but I wanted to make this video anyway because the topic's overall important. However, just know that for a lot of my transition, I've been openly a straight trans woman, so I have learnt a thing or two about the first-hand experience, so to speak. So whenever I'm at like a pride event or that kind of thing, and I mention, oh yeah, hello, I happen to like men. All right. The response you generally don't want to give someone is, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This is awful. I'm really sorry. Is that even possible? Girls, check this out. A straight trans girl. That's crazy. Now, if you have close friends, I think joking around is perfectly fine. But when you're meeting a stranger at a pride event, maybe don't do that. Because I think we have an underlying concept of straight equals them, not us, right? We have a habit of othering the straights, right? However, we're kind of oversimplifying pride and queer experience. There are people that are straight that identify strongly with queer expression.
You have made history being our first straight contestant.
A straight drag queen. Wow, that's something new.
For example, there could be a straight trans woman that goes to every pride event ever, knows all the people, sees all the drag shows, marches down with everyone, protests when things get bad. And also there are straight trans women that don't do that. They hang out with just cis-het people. They don't really talk about their queer experience because they don't really identify with queer experience. And that's fine too. I think stigmatizing one or the other is not the way to go about it. I think instead we should just try to encourage being ourselves in whatever way we see ourselves meaning. Me personally, I go to quite a lot of pride events as my queer identity is a massive part of my identity. Hence the YouTube channel, right? Go figure. But queerness, in my own case, is more related to my gender rather than sexuality. So when queer events only emphasize sexuality and expression in that sense, I feel a little isolated. I kind of don't make a big deal about it. I kind of just go with it a lot of the time. I'm okay partying with people and saying yay the gays, you know what I mean? That's fine. It doesn't have to be about me, always. Though inclusivity, including everyone whenever we can, I think that's ideal. So I may not personally resonate with like rainbow flags or the Yas Queen stereotypes, that kind of thing. That said, drag performances can be very cool. I want to be able to do that, that's cool. But yeah, I don't feel less queer or whatever just because I happen to probably be straight. I'm not too concerned as a big part of my own queer experience is my gender. And I like being able to be included in those queer spaces. And I think everyone that identifies with it should be able to. So just remember, lovely audience, someone being straight doesn't inherently mean they're not queer. They might have a different gender expression outside of cisgender. Just keep that in mind. I repeat, straight does not equal not queer, okay? Cool, we're good. Also, you're not like more queer or less queer depending on your sexuality or gender, that kind of thing, right? It's actually not a contest. You know, queer joy and expression is about, well, queer joy and expression, right? It's not a contest. If it was, that'd be pretty lame. And your identity as a trans woman is not compromised by whether you're straight, gay, ace, pan, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. So if you feel like you're identifying with a straight label specifically to be allowed to be transgender, just know you don't have to. But also, if you like men, it's okay to identify with that. You know what I mean? It's neither bad or good. It's just whatever works for you. You know what I mean? It is true that being a straight trans woman does make you blend in more with cis-het normative society. However, just keep in mind, those are, you know, stereotypes and expectations of society. We shouldn't feel a need to have to conform to them and to not make people better or worse trans people just based on how much they fit into a cis-het lens. Also, not to stigmatize people that do fit into that lens just by being themselves, right? So please understand, there's two sides to this. There's balance. Don't stigmatize one or the other, okay? Okay. I think an awkward thing for straight trans people is a lack of like specific community spaces to talk to other people that are straight and trans, right? Because unfortunately, to be blunt, a lot of the spaces I have found that is specifically advertised as straight trans communities usually aren't very nice or comfy, and I don't like them very much. I feel like too many end up in a trans med kind of area or trans medicalist, which I'll make a whole video about probably. But just know that they're lame. Also, there's just people that are a bit exclusionary of other trans people. Like, just because the wider queer community has kind of isolated us a little bit, doesn't mean that you should do it back at them with more vitriol than they ever did, right? Don't look down on lesbian trans people just because you're a straight trans person. Doing so is lame. If you view trans people that aren't also straight like you lesser, that is pretty lame. Stigmatizing queerness, gayness, that kind of thing, and acting like you're high and mighty and better than them is not the way to go about it. People that do this can make the space really uncomfortable. Just bear in mind that the reason we have the rights we do are, you know, because we worked together with the gay community, you know? Don't stigmatize queer expression, drag shows, that kind of thing. It's why we have rights. Does every straight trans person do this? No, of course not. That'd be ridiculous. It's a vocal minority, which means they're the loudest, but there's less of them. What this means is I find most people that are trans and happen to be straight just either hang out with a bunch of gay trans people or a bunch of cis-het people and just focus on, you know, making friends based on your hobbies, interests, that kind of thing, which in general, regardless of your sexuality, making friends based on your interests is always a great thing too. But my point is, if like wider queer communities only really platform people that happen to be, in their eyes, more queer, then you might feel a bit isolated as a trans person. You're like, do I belong here? Am I okay? Is it okay if I celebrate Pride if I'm like trans and straight? The answer to that is yes, it is okay. It's best to find people that are inclusive and kind and just, you know, there to have a good time, right? If we force trans people to be a certain sexuality, then we're no better than the cis-het society that put us in a box in the first place. It's best to just, you know, approach life with, you know, the spirit of queerness, right? Being unapologetically you. If someone watching this happens to be a straight trans person and you feel like you don't exhibit the stereotypes of other straight trans people, or equally so, gay trans people, that's fine. Enjoy whatever interests you want to do what you want to do, and of course, date who you want. You want less queer, you want disappointing the queer community if you happen to be gay, bi, straight, ace, what have you, right? It's important to just be you, and you is wonderful. Sexuality is quite fluid. As a result, it might change. It might not change. but it might change, and that's okay. But it's okay to identify with whatever labels feel comfortable for you at that moment. It's okay if they change, it's okay if they don't change. At the end of the day, you get to do what you want. Now, as for me, I don't know. In the time I've been Fairy Princess Lucy on the internet, I've gone from lesbian to bi to straight, and maybe I'm ace, I don't know. My running theory is I might be like asexual but heteroromantic. Basically, like sexuality and romantic feelings can be separate for some people, right? So for example, if I'm asexual, then that means I don't experience sexual attraction towards other people. But if I'm heteroromantic, that means I would want to do romantic things with men. And that sounds about right. It can sometimes be hard to juggle the expectations people have on you. You're not less queer if you happen to be straight. You're not more queer if you happen to be gay, bi, etc. And you're not more or less queer if you're trans or not trans. Maybe you identify with the queer label, maybe you don't. It's okay either way. It's up to doing what you want to do in this lovely world of ours. I hope you enjoyed a look into a topic that I wanted to do for a while. Now, the timing of me doing it was a bit funny because very recently there's a possibility of me not being straight. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Let me know your experience with this. And if you found anything that's helped you feel more comfortable with yourself, be sure to share that story in the comments, whether it's related to dating preferences or not. As always, stay hydrated and know that you are valid. I'll see you next week.